Good evening. Welcome to the Cowesett Inn. It's Tuesday night. We are here having a fantastic meal before we started. Come on down and visit the friends at the bar or book your holiday party. Tonight, we invited Marie, who's running for representative in Warwick or the surrounding area for our state house. Welcome to the Spotlight Series.
Hi, Scott. Thank you for having me.
I will first admit that you've been in my neighborhood. I am a constituent of your potential, your definite candidacy and potential position. So I'd like to welcome you into my little home here.
I appreciate it.
Give us a little background of yourself.
So I am a wife, a mom, a nurse, and a teacher, and that's what it says on all of my literature. These are really my identifiers and who I am as a person. I have a degree in English from Brown University, and I was an editor for about a decade. And when I turned, I'm going to age myself here, when I turned 40, I decided to reinvent myself. And I said, I'm going to nursing school. Everyone said, you're out of your mind, build on what you know, go get a master's degree. And I said, absolutely not. I'm going to do this. And I took it on and I went to nursing school. I first attended CCRI, which was so much harder than a Brown English degree. So much harder. And I had 3 kids. And then I started working for the state of Rhode Island. I worked in forensics, which is criminal psych. It's a pretty tough job. And while I was doing that, I continued my nursing studies, got a bachelor's from URI. Presently, I am not working as a nurse. I'm teaching the CNA program at the Community College of Rhode Island, and I'm a substitute nurse for the city of Warwick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you really have time to be in the state house?
This is a remarkable thing. So as I was turning 49 last year, when I was offered the job at CCRI, my hours changed and they reduced. And I had all of this free time in my life suddenly because nursing is kind of a grind with the hours. Teaching gave me some freedom. And I thought, okay, well, shall I go finish my master's degree? I didn't mention that. I should finish that, or should I have all these options open? And like so many people, I was frustrated with the direction the country was heading, with the state of the state. And instead of sitting and continuing to complain, I thought, here's my chance to do something. I have the space. So many people cannot step up. I can. So I'm stepping up. I will be able to keep my teaching and also do this. Yeah.
Giving back to the community is, as you know, obviously a big part of my life. And I applaud you for jumping in and trying to do that.
I'm pretty excited, actually. Yeah, it feels good.
So you're running as a Republican.
I am. I'm running as the endorsed candidate. I'm on the GOP ticket.
Okay. And why did you make that decision versus on the extremely popular Democratic side?
So to be honest, I've been a Republican all my life. And I don't see that as a loaded word. I see that as a representative of fiscal responsibility, taxation, working class values. These are the things that I identify with that word. Families, veterans, things that are just, good old American pie. So I chose it because it's who I am. I had a few people say to me, go run as an independent, you'll have a better chance, or switch to the Democrats, you'll have a better chance. And I was like, no, let's see how far I can get on my own, And I think something I've learned knocking on the doors, which I've knocked over 4,000 doors at this point. Not everyone's home, but I've knocked.
I've been home when you knocked on my door.
Yes, that's right. Is that even though we're a state that tends toward the Democrats, most people are actually unaffiliated, and they do swing vote. And at the end of the day, because Rhode Islanders are so fiercely independent, they vote for the person over the party, and that's statistically true. So I hope that, my appeal as a person and my ideas, what I think representation should be, that people say, hey, it's about Marie, it's not about this label or that label.
Okay. And I kind of looked at your, between the mailings that I received and also what's on your website, as people should follow along if you want to plug the website as well.
Oh, I'm so excited. It was recently updated just last week. It's Marie4RI, number 4, MARIE, 4RI.com.
Okay.
And it is now integrated with my Twitter feed. So instead of being a static sort of DIY website that sees no updates, it's now getting daily updates. And that's keeping people present on the campaign progress, on issues that affect them statewide. I don't really get too much into national issues. Try to keep it local because I'm running for local office. So I'm really excited about that. Everybody should totally check it out.
Okay. And taking a look at the issues that you have on your website. So one of them is term limits.
Yes.
So I look at that as, and I'll play the devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Everybody who doesn't have an opinion or is against term limits says every time we go to the polls, the voters have the ultimate term limit.
That's a fact. They
But
do.
why should we? And I'm not against or for it, just
Yeah.
in your opinion.
Why should
you've
we
made the
legislate
case.
it?
Yeah.
I think it's bandied about for years. I think it's extremely popular with people. I think, although you do have the ultimate term limit, I think people like the idea of enforcing that. It's not politically popular right now. It's not a primary issue, so you're leading with that one. But I think it's an important one because for anybody who's unhappy, whether you are a Democrat who's unhappy or a Republican who's unhappy, the term limit would help you have a second chance, so to speak. I have a problem with the concept of a career politician. And I just got through telling you, like, I reinvented myself. I'm going to be 50 years old in September. By the time I'm 60, I'm going to be a grandma, not a politician. So I would certainly figure, spend my time at the State House, do good things, and then pass the baton to the next qualified, voted in person. I'm just a big believer in it. I think it's important that it be made solid, that we just have that in place as a protection.
Let's talk about healthcare for a moment.
Sure.
Something near and dear to your heart.
It is.
During the COVID, nurses and doctors were heroes.
Yeah.
Medical people and from testing to ambulances to everywhere were the heroes.
Right.
Now I see we don't have enough staff.
We don't.
A lot of folks walked away from the job. I
Yeah.
can't blame them. It was a difficult mental process for a couple of years.
It was.
I'm not sure how we rebuild that. I also work part-time at CCRI.
Oh, cool.
No, not related to your area at all, but I see how many kids are going through the nursing program there and other colleges.
Oh my gosh, we put so many through that program.
But we're still so short with doctors and nurses
Right.
and people in the healthcare field and the reimbursements the state gives to those facilities. How do we repair that?
So, to your point that people left, during the COVID crisis, some of the people ran to the fire
Yep.
and some of the people ran away from the fire. And they may have run away because they had children to take care of at home who were suddenly doing distance learning, or
Sure.
they had elderly, or they had health conditions and they were fearful of being in the environment, or they had whatever reason. A lot of people left due to the mandates. You're like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to leave. Older nurses left. They put in 30 years. They said, I don't need the risk. Younger nurses left. Let me rethink this career for a little while. So there was that. But then there were the people that stayed, putting in 60, 80 hours to cover and burning themselves out.
Right.
And now they're, frankly, sadly, ready to leave because how much can you give, right? So how do we repair it? We have a lifespan partnership. That's what I'm currently teaching at CCRI, where we're bringing people directly into the CNA program so that they can hopefully advance into employment with lifespan. Forming other partnerships that bridge people from nursing school into the hospitals would be great. I just thought of this. I'm spitballing here.
Sure.
I'm totally spitballing. In the past, nursing was taught through hospital schools. There's possibly a way forward with integration that has less didactic theory, less nursing theory, and more hands-on training. Maybe we can hit the ground running with that. We can bring in military. We can bring in ancillary healthcare. It's a matter of creating the programs and the pathways and the bridges. And I don't think that's hard to create. I think it takes a team of people to sit down with the colleges and the healthcare centers and say, how can we do this together? That's a long-range goal. That won't happen overnight. Meanwhile, scholarship, maybe encouraging people. I know we do have quite a bit of healthcare scholarship out there, but perhaps there could be more. It's a wonderful career.
And the kids can come in from CCRI
Right.
straight out of high school for free for 2 years and
Right,
get that degree.
and that degree can be obtained immediately. And it's obviously easily employable, but the salary, you start with the living wage. As a 2-year nurse, your starting salary right now, I believe, is $31 an hour, plus a shift differential, plus a weekend differential. One of the biggest problems we have in the state is affordability. Our youth are fleeing. Can't afford an apartment. They sure the heck can't afford a house. Giving them a career that allows them to build a life here, how fantastic is that?
coming out of a 2-year degree with
Right.
little to no student loans and a nice salary
A
and
nice
be able to
salary.
afford life.
So everybody should be a nurse. Oh, and by the way, we need more male nurses. 50% of the population is male. 50% of the population might prefer a male nurse. Yeah, so bring the guys on board.
All right.
We have a huge, there's way more young women, older women. That's another thing about nursing. Any age can join that career. You can do it at 40 like myself. I have a friend who graduated nursing school and she's in her 50s. Awesome, come on.
Being in their 50s is okay.
It's
I'm in my
okay,
50s.
I know. But the point is, how many careers can you enter
Right.
as a second act in life? That's what I called my nursing career. So this is my second act, doing something new, you know?
So let's talk about that. So how does a nurse teacher in the minority party
Yes.
progress and work with an expected democratic establishment?
So
I think you've talked a little bit about it, but I want you to appeal to the people who are sitting on the fence or thinking maybe this person that you're running against isn't the choice that I want, and I want to look at this person.
So I'm a conservative running in a Democrat state, a largely Democrat state. I recognize that. I am not going to anchor myself to national politics or get dragged down by national politics. People need to look at, hey, there's Marie. Marie's like us. Marie's a mom. Marie's raised kids. Marie's a nurse. Marie's going to do good things. At the end of the day, my personal belief in the idea of representation is that I represent you, Scott. You would be my constituent for real. As you said, I knocked your door if I won. And while I can tell you my thoughts all day long and where I stand and what my personal values are, and they are traditionally Republican values. They are. I want no Republican to doubt that. At the end of the day, you need to represent the people, and that means being out there listening to the people, right? And we have extremists on both ends. They make the most noise. They get the most attention because that's big news. But most people, we're all just somewhere in the middle, and we have a lot of common ground. And I can stand on the door of somebody who's fundamentally opposed, quote unquote, to me and find common ground. And the reason I can do that is because I am out there, as I said, over 4,000 doors so far, personally, knocking on the doors, personally listening, saying, where do we meet? What can I do? What do you need to hear? That's one of my leading questions. What's important to you? And I think if representatives were bringing that to the State House, it'd be a positive thing. And my last answer to that in regard of the Republican aspect, so we have two-party system in America. You have a little Republicanism, a little Democrat, a little Republicanism. It's like a seesaw, right? I'll do this with my hands. And we kind of hobble back and forth, but eventually go on a straight path. Everyone having some say. And on Rhode Island, we've had a lock on a one-party system. So it kind of gone to the left, gone to the left, gone to the left, gone to the left. And there's no balance. And what's happening in today's Democratic Party in Rhode Island is that a lot of progressive candidates are stepping into the party. A lot of progressive representatives are stepping into the party. And it doesn't seem to reflect the values of the average Rhode Islander at all. So to those people who were traditional Kennedy Democrats, Union Blue working Democrats, and they look at the progressives and they say, I don't think I want that. To them I say, welcome aboard. This is your party now. You know, we have this common ground. I don't know if I answered your question.
I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. So Marie, people want to get involved. I know you're knocking on doors. They can pick up the phone. They go on your website. Is there any other way they can reach out to you?
So I've had a meet and greet, and I had a really great fundraiser down in Connecticut. We had hot wieners, and that was a really good time.
That's Rhode Island?
Yeah,
That's
no, it was
Warwick?
fantastic. I have a bigger fundraiser coming up to sort of get us to the finish line with this campaign.
Okay.
That's going to be at the Elks Lodge. It's on September 20th
Okay.
from 5 to 9 p.m. And I'm super excited because I'm rolling that into a 50th birthday celebration.
Nice.
And we're going to have some music. And although it's not stitched up, the plan is chowder and clam cakes. So,
So someone out there is listening that has chowder and clam cakes access?
I have access. I just got to, get it on the dotted line.
All right.
So that's the plan. And cake, of course, we're going to have a birthday cake. It should be a good time. Come out and meet me. If you're not interested in doing that, I'm really accessible. As you said, the website, also Facebook, Twitter. I even have a kind of goofy little Instagram page. I do answer people. When you reach out, I will get back to you. So please reach out.
Okay.
Thank you.
And in fairness, we do ask all candidates to come on the show. So if Marie's primary folks or our general election folks are all invited to come on, it's not, I just want to be clear that just because Marie is running for area where I live, there wasn't any favoritism.
Appreciate it.
No problem. I wish you a lot of luck.
I'm working
Good
very
luck.
hard for it. Thank
got
you so much.
Got a little bit left to go, and
I do.
I'm sure we'll see you walking around the neighborhood again.
I will be in your
more
neighborhood this
times.
week.
All right.
Absolutely. I'm still working through Pilgrim Park.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you so much.